Hello and welcome to the 113th episode of the Gochuucast. And this is like the bright spot of every few months. We have content to talk about because there's new anime
Mhm.
afoot.
Yeah.
And I've almost watched at least one episode of everything I wanted to. There's still a few things that haven't aired quite yet. Two of them are tomorrow, actually. And then
Mm.
I also
The
took some things off
only
my list that I didn't feel like watching in the end.
the only thing I think I haven't gotten to see, well, but I haven't watched the fairy tale yet because I kind of want to save a couple episodes before I do that. But I haven't watched 2.5D yet. But I think everything else that I have, I've watched at least an episode of.
I've watched an episode of a couple of them, and I've been watching Freer trying to do a couple episodes of those this week's been a little bit busier than usual for me, but I'm trying to keep up. I think I have like a couple other seasonals that I want to check out. One of them I tried. It was I'll talk about that later, but yeah, I don't know if I'll continue that one, but yeah, got to watch some stuff this week. So you can start, Daniel, since you've watched the most, I guess.
Yeah, I'll just like go down the list, and anytime you all have also watched something
Yeah,
that
that sounds like a good
you
idea.
can just break in, and if there's anything you all have watched that I didn't, you can of course put
Yeah,
it at the end.
sounds good.
I'll just go down my airing list in order that it has it. So, Elusive Samurai, the first episode is pretty good. I mean,
First episode was pretty good.
it's like the quality you like I come to expect from Cloverworks at this point. Like the character animation was pretty stellar. Really like colorful art direction. Just I don't know exactly. Like I mean, by the end I could be like, okay, it looks nice, but it's like mid. But who knows? Right now, I don't. It's only one episode. It's difficult to say, but first impressions are good. I think it looks really nice. Um, Character interactions were pretty fun. It's an interesting start at the very least. We'll see where it goes. Could just become very typical generic, but who knows? For right now, though, we're chilling.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was pretty good episode one. I mean, episode ones are episode ones. It was kind of fun that it was almost like it started off really more lighthearted and then just like total tone change in the second half.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be. I didn't know what I expected, but like I didn't expect that. Just based on like I think
It was just so
some of
quick,
the
I think,
promotional
right?
material I'd seen, which wasn't a lot, but generally it was like really colorful. The art looks nice. Okay, this will probably just be like a typical lighthearted battle shonen type thing. And it took quite the turn, yeah, in the second half of that episode. Um, like very still, like you said, very suddenly. Cause like we're just chilling, and then like the next frame, you're like, wait, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden, a bunch of shit starts going down. So yeah, I hope it keeps up this like the feel it had in the first episode, but we'll see. I think there's only gonna be 12 episodes, and I don't feel like I ever saw anything about it having like a secret
Not
second
anything
season,
I've
second
heard
core, or
about.
anything like
Yeah.
that from like the leakers. So I think it's just gonna be 12 episodes.
Like I said, I think based on everything I've seen of the manga sales of this, it's probably as opposed to something like Kaiju 8 that was like really popular and
Mhm.
always felt necessary to have a second season. Um, this feels more from everything I've seen of sales like a we're gonna put out a season and see if it helps with the sales, and if not, might be finishing soon.
This was on the Shonen Jump. This is Shonen Jump, right? Like it was like
This
one
is
of those
Shonen
things on
Jump.
there. Yeah, one of those things we saw in the freaking
Yep.
ranking or whatever. Yeah, yeah, I remember this. I had this on
And
my
when we
planning. I didn't get
talked
a chance
about
to see
it,
it, but yeah, yeah,
It's one
yeah,
of those
when we
okay.
things
talked
where
about
it's
it
like
back then, it was like middle of the pack.
Yeah, yeah.
it has
Does
enough of a fandom to
okay.
survive, but not enough to like be up the top.
Well, if the animator does well, then you never know.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's exactly what it is, right?
Yep.
Anime does well, then they can justify like, okay, we keep it. Anime doesn't do well, then they'll probably start having discussions of like, is it good enough to keep in the magazine still, or do we just be like, hey, can we wrap this shit up soon to
How
the
long has it been
author?
going for?
It
The
says
manga.
start date was
Uh,
2021, so it's
I
like
mean,
yeah, a
reasonably
couple
it's
long.
years.
new-ish, but
Yeah.
yeah, a few years.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking like a few years seems like long, but I guess for manga it's like not, as. But I don't know.
Trying to look at how many chapters it actually has.
It doesn't
Let's
say.
see. Oh, it's on Viz. Okay, that'll do it. It's on chapter
Probably in like
one
the
sixty three.
hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah, 163. So it's been, I think I
Decent
feel like
amount.
at this point it's probably past the the chop. It's past the chopping block. I don't think the anime is gonna have much of an effect on whether
It's
they keep
probably
it or not.
past it's probably past the chopping block in the sense of like just axing it, but it is, how do I put it? One of those things too where I could see if it doesn't do particularly well and it's still not doing well, they want to add stuff. A conversation similar to just like, hey, are you finishing this soon? Because we think you should finish it soon.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
I don't know. Like those
they would
are,
probably just let it
yeah.
like because they have Undead Unluck and Yozakura and I don't think either of those have particularly had like much of a boost from their sales. I mean, probably to some extent, but
No, but those are both more popular than this.
yeah, but I
Well,
mean,
Yozakura, I'm not sure. I know Undead Unluck is way more popular than Elusive
I think at the
Samurai.
end of the day, like those three are like they're safe, especially because like Shonen Jump is about to lose like My Hero. They're gonna lose JJK within the year probably. Uh,
Mm.
I mean they're about to have some stuff going, so I don't think they need to worry about getting rid of anything too hastily, especially if it's one of their more long running.
Yeah, but this isn't like me giving advice on what they should do. This is just me saying I could see them doing that.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't particularly
Yeah, yeah.
see them do it just because they're gonna have some space open up whether they like it or not soon. So it's like that's just how it goes.
Sure,
But yeah,
My Hero's what, 4 chapters left or something like that?
something like that. Yeah, I should catch up to
I
that
think that was
soon.
officially announced. Speaking of, I did see something interesting today, and it doesn't mean anything yet, but like when Shueisha bought the quote streaming rights for Kagurabachi, which doesn't mean that an anime is coming, but what it does mean is that they get the choice of whether they'll end up making an anime of it, essentially. Um,
Hmm.
there's like a lot of examples of shows that are airing now, like Kaiju 8 had the rights bought by Shueisha in 2020, and so it's one of those things that it's like, will there be a Kagurabachi anime? Maybe there will, maybe there won't, but the rights are out there, which means around probably a couple years from now, it is a strong possibility just because it's like from a legal standpoint on their radar at least.
Yeah, I mean I'm not particularly like I think they've been trying to push it a lot, and it's definitely yes, it's something with a lot of potential right now at least. Just in terms of how much attention it gets, at least on social media.
Yeah, I think that's why they're getting the rights early because it's usually a couple like several year process before anything like that happens. That's why I say it's not a big deal, but I mean if it keeps up the way it's been doing, because now it's kind of settled into a like pretty comfortable place in my opinion. A lot of the fans that have stuck are really happy with it, but it's also not just like meme to hell in the current environment.
Yeah,
They're too strong.
I think in the end the memes were like honestly the best thing that could have happened to the series.
Oh, of
I
course.
do agree. I think the memes brought a lot of those people that are now like, this shit's kind of heat. I need to keep reading it. I saw a spoiler panel from the newest chapter, and the art is really good.
Ooh.
We already knew
I
that,
knew the art was
though.
good. I might pick it up at some point just to be there. I don't know.
But yeah, so on the radar for like 2028 or some shit potentially. But rights are bought. So it just kind of was a fun thing I saw earlier.
Cool. Cool.
I guess moving on though, I'm gonna imagine I'm probably the only one who watched this. The Shoshimin series, How to Be Ordinary. This is from the
Absolutely, you were the only one.
yeah.
Who
This
Oh, I had
is
this on my planning too. Yeah.
this is from the Hyoka author. Right now, I don't really have a lot to say about it, other than it looks really, really good, and you can definitely like tell it's from the Hyoka author to where I can like we're gonna be like 5 episodes in, and there's gonna be like a large portion of people who say this is like anime of the season, and then also a large portion of people who are like this is boring as fuck. We'll see where I end up. It's only gonna be 10 episodes. There's not really like a lot of source material to it. I don't know if that source material tells like a full story. I don't, because I know the Hyoka author never actually like finished Hyoka. I don't think. So who knows? Maybe this is another unfinished work that people are like, oh, I like this. Where's the rest of it? But we'll see. Um, yeah, it's directed very well. It just looks really nice, and that's all I can really say about it right now. I enjoy the interactions between the two main characters, and I'll have to get back to you on whether or not it's worth watching another time.
One episode and it's kind of hard to.
I mean, yeah, but the first
Yeah.
impressions, like, I have literally no idea what to think,
Oh, okay, okay.
other than,
Yeah.
like, it was nice, I guess. it,
That's
it
fair.
didn't do a whole lot. There's, like, no set story or anything. It just kind of, like, introduced the characters
Right, right.
and their personalities, I'd say. But, yeah. So that's that. No, I don't know. He said he took a few things out. I don't know if you ended up watching. Actually, no, I think you literally said you might have watched an episode of this. The Wistoria, Wand and Sword.
I did.
Yes.
Ooh.
First episode went pretty hard. Animate like the animation. If
Yeah,
you
the
could,
animation popped off.
like I mean, they'll animate like heavily the most like random shit ever. Like dude just like waving his hands to make it smooth as butter for no reason. We'll see if it can keep it up. Uh, I don't really. Well, once again, it's just there's no like story established. Like episode one, first impressions is it looks really nice. Is what I've said for like all of these so far. Um, it's very. I mean, you can tell it's from just like you can tell the other ones from the Hyoka author. You can tell this is the Danmachi author. Like it has a very similar setup to Danmachi in a sense, where you have this guy who's kind of like lower on the social rung. There's this dungeon with floors. And then he has someone that he looks up to that he's trying to reach, basically, in terms of capability. So we'll see where it goes from here. Um, but first impressions is at the very least, I think it'll be fun. Um,
Enjoyable.
and
He's like a, how would I describe it? He feels like a really nice character. Especially when I think of this series versus a lot of like similar, like the Black Clovers and stuff like that.
yeah, I feel like
He's just, I mean, not surprising because like Bell is also just kind of a character that is just like nice and exists and not necessarily a like super crazy personality. And that's kind of what this guy feels like too.
yeah, I feel like the one thing he stands apart from when it comes to Bell is like he feels like he's already reached like a pretty good level of skill. It's just he doesn't have access to magic, as opposed to Bell, where he like he starts
Yep.
off not great, but he gains access to things as he goes along. Whereas this guy is like he's already built like that when it comes
The guy's
to
already pretty OP. At least it feels like it.
he's very strong with the sword specifically, but we'll see. I'm sure
Yes.
like at some point the lack of magic use is going to cause issues. I mean, it already kind of does with him, but
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd have to assume because it's one of those things with like physical enhancements, right? To me, that feels like an early game thing. If I think of it in like a funny like video game aspect, so it's like, yeah, if you're just faster and stronger than everything, you're gonna destroy all the early game monsters and stuff like that. But yeah, I would assume eventually he's not going to be able to just kind of beat the shit out of whatever he wants.
Yeah. I think at some point it'll definitely cause problems, because, like, we saw him cook that one monster that was good against magic, but, maybe there'll be a monster with blade resistant skin at some point or some shit like that. Basically, like,
Yeah,
at some
those
point, his way of
happen to be
doing
a
things
counter.
has to be challenged, other than like in a social status sort of way.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Very early, we don't know a whole lot, so we'll see.
Enjoyable. It feels like it's going to have a pretty small cast, which I mean,
Just
maybe it won't, but it just feels like early on a very
yeah.
small cast,
I
which
can't
I'm kind of
remember
okay with.
for sure. I feel like Danmachi definitely introduced like a lot of characters to start with generally. At least based on the key visual here, it doesn't look like there's a ton of people. But we'll
Yeah.
see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes in the future. But yeah, enjoyable first episode. Next up, Tower God. It it, it was an alright first episode,
Tower
I
of Mid.
guess. Yeah, Tower Mid. I mean, a lot of people are excited for this to be back.
This arc is supposed to be really good, or this section,
Yeah, I've read
part
it. I
two,
don't really
whatever.
remember anything from it though, so I may as well not. I know like the car facts, I guess. I don't know. The general idea of
Not the
everything
car
going
effect.
on. Nothing will surprise me. I'll see something happen, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's how that went, right? Um, but yeah, the art style, looks, I don't know. Season one definitely had like a cooler aesthetic to it, whereas this season feels more typical of anime, I guess. Um, it's not as bad as like some anime like I where like it's like the hair gradient bullshit, that type of typical. I don't know. I do feel like it's a little downgraded though. I feel like the previous aesthetic fit a bit better.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't foresee. I feel like within this like set of 24 episodes, I feel like it's gonna get worse over time. The production. Um, there's like a decent like little cut of animation within the first episode. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, we're so back, we're so back." I'm like, man, you better hope that's not like the peak of of animation, because I mean, it looked like decent, but it was like pretty quick. And it's the first episode, so who knows where this is gonna go from here. In this studio, the Answer Studio, they ain't got a lot going on with their existence. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say. I mean, I don't know. I've read Tower God already, so I'm not like super. And I was never super into it to begin with, like the anime
Right.
at least. So we'll see how it continues. But yeah, I'm not like frothing at the mouth. It's like all over my fucking Twitter feed. I'm like, where are all these Tower God fans like crawl out from? What the fuck happened here? But anyway, next anime, Nanare Hana Inare was the cheerleading one.
Oh
I did
yeah,
watch
this one.
that.
Is it
Yeah.
good? I didn't see it.
First
One
episode
episode in,
was nice.
it was alright. I have It looks generally nice.
The art is like cool. I
So it's
like
by
the art style.
PA
the
works.
the director and scriptwriter for this is the same director that did MyGo. And I only mention that in this example, not because I like MyGo, but because MyGo started off pretty slow and kind of like built up, and it feels like this is gonna kind of have the same like slower build up
Okay,
to,
great.
because the first episode we got introduced to most of the important characters, but we didn't really do anything.
Yeah, we didn't learn a lot about them particularly, or about where we're gonna go from here. Like, it didn't really establish like a plot per se.
Like, it's cute and the characters were nice and we like kind of learned what the characters are like, but yeah, we don't have a plot or a goal or anything at this point. It's kind of just episode one, here's the girls, and we'll worry about silly things like plots in episode two.
Yeah, we'll see. Um,
Yeah, jury's kind of out on it. I enjoyed it. It was cute. It looked good. It's just there's nothing to say yet.
Something that like interests me with like the description here is that it says like the main girl with like the brown hair or whatever can't jump
She's the
after a
one.
mistake.
Yes.
But she jumped pretty fucking high in the first episode. Am I wrong? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, that's why she had the reaction that she did after she
I know, but they
jumped,
like
and she
never
was like,
established
"Holy
that she
shit,
never
I jumped."
established that she couldn't jump. I thought she just shocked that she jumped as high as she did. I'm like, yeah, you fucking flew. Like literally, like she said she flew. I'm like, no fucking kidding. Like, I don't know. And then like the parkour girl, holy shit, dude. Like you need to get on like uh and you don't need to be
Parker
hanging out
girl's
with these
crazy.
people. You need to like hang with like a national team or some shit. Like you have superhuman capabilities. Uh,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know what to think of the show so far.
the main girl I need to have some more on, because like I understand to this point that it's like, okay, she stopped doing the cheerleading because some shit happened.
Yeah.
What I'm confused about is like what even happened in the competition? Like what was,
I
you
imagine
know,
they're not going like we've never seen the aftermath of what happened when like she was like oh fuck in the air, but I'm going to imagine they did not catch her or that they like threw her in the wrong direction or something. I don't know.
well, that's the thing though, right? Like if it's that, is it like a physical issue, or because we know that the
Looking
girl
like
who's hurt
mental maybe.
got hurt before that
Well,
competition.
she wasn't even. She had like an illness or something.
Yeah. So it's like we know it's not. She didn't accidentally get at least that
Maybe it is
part,
like a mental
that
thing
friend hurt. I feel like it's more of a mental thing, but and we'll
because
probably
otherwise she
find out
has
as it
no
goes.
reason to be able to do what she
Not,
did in episode
yeah.
one. We'll see.
Well, yeah, exactly. If it's a physical thing, how did she fucking leap up 20 feet in the air to jump across that room?
Yeah, the physics in this world
Um,
a little questionable, but you know, anime
yeah,
magic.
I think it'll be nice and cute. And I'm knowing that it's from the director of My Go. I'm sure there will be a point in the season where we emotionally want to die, because My Go also got very emotional at points.
You know, so I'm trying to see. Look like this dude made a script for anything else that I can see.
He hasn't done a ton of stuff
He
that I think you would
scripted
know.
some Bang Dream stuff, so yeah, I don't really know. We'll see.
And most of the Bang Dream stuff he did is not
Not scripting work. He's like heavy. He's heavy in
super.
direction work.
Yeah,
He didn't make a whole lot of scripts.
like the things he's done for me as someone who watches the Bandori series and everything is like good signs. It's like chief director of Pop and Dream. Pop and Dream is great. Chief director of Fifth Anniversary AMQ Hell Party, um, also great. We're gonna ignore him storyboarding the Isekai Make You OP, but that's funny. Morphonication, chief director for that. Morphonication was great. So it's like, I think based on everything I see that he's done, I'm like, this should be quite good. But that's only because I'm familiar with this very specific
Yeah, this is like a very
niche.
not musical based anything. So yeah, we'll see. I guess to kind of like explain, because I mean, you can see in the OP that they're probably gonna use like CG for like the cheer stuff. So I mean, he has like some experience
Yeah.
directing like CG choreo. I don't know. I don't know if he's a fucking choreographer or anything like that,
Yes.
but he's at least directed CG based things with Bang
Yeah,
Dream.
we saw
So
some in the CG at the beginning, and I was a little surprised by it. Knowing that it's not like a Bang Dream aside, but it's from a lot of people associated with those projects, makes sense to me then.
yeah, but we'll see where that goes.
I'm assuming, since we're looking at stuff in order, and I do have one thing that I watched that you didn't mention before the cheer, so I'll interject.
Okay,
I'm
go
assuming
for it.
you did not watch the VTuber anime. I don't know. I don't
Twitter
think you
made sure
plan
I
to.
know very much about what happens in the VTuber anime, and
Wait, I missed it.
I think
I
I've made
missed that.
Okay,
I think I've made the correct
okay,
decision.
okay.
Oh my
Listen,
gosh.
listen. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna say you made the incorrect decision. However, it was pretty fun. Like, I think the main character, because you've seen the moments where the like out of control moments, right? Those are the ones that
Yes.
are trending around, and those are a lot. But the main character was just really like funny and entertaining
I
for
might
it.
just
So
like
I don't know.
most of the streets, but
I enjoyed episode one. I mean, I cringed a little at like the specific scenes that you're thinking of, but it was quite entertaining.
I didn't see it on Twitter. Anything on Twitter?
Yeah. So
What? Like,
Daniel's posted
okay,
the
let me see.
this is basically all you need to know here. Like,
Let me see. Oh, okay, let me see. There's
so
just some
these
very
are
interesting.
just reading. Yeah, you just gotta
Yeah,
read the
that's
subtitles,
yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's where we
I
are.
mean, hey, the whoever did the subs, they had a little bit of a fun,
whoever.
some artistic liberties. Let's just say.
One thing I will say that's been interesting, because I'm not familiar with VTubers at all, but um I've seen a lot of comments from people who are familiar with VTubers who are basically like, yeah, this anime and the people subbing and everything are like incredibly locked into VTuber culture, which is kind of
Oh
funny
my
to me.
god.
Like all the VTuber fans are like, yeah, this is how it be,
I don't know
which
about
is
that, but I mean, not that VTuber culture is like entirely sane, of course, like in comparison, but uh, I can't imagine
I
it's
think,
exactly as being pictured here.
yeah, but you're also seeing like the four most extreme moments of the show,
Yes.
which is like fair.
Is
She's
it the first
I
episode?
think I think the funnier
Yeah,
part
first
is that when
episode.
she's saying
Okay.
most of this
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
she's just fucking drinking a couple beers, just fucking wasted. There is a weird decision that was made, which I kind of like, but it's also very like artistically unclear. I think it confused a lot of people, but whenever they show the VTubers as like off stream,
Mm-hmm.
their character designs are the same as their streaming personas. But I think a lot of people saw that and were like, well, it's kind of lame that they look just like their characters. And I think it's more like the artistic decision of like keeping the mask up. Like
Or
I
just
don't
like
necessarily
keeping
know.
identities in track, because like
Yeah, I don't know if it'll odd taxi it and like show their real or anything like that later on, but it's just I think it's an interesting decision that was very unclear to a lot of people. But it just kind of like, well, rather than giving them their like non VTuber designs, we're just gonna keep their designs as the VTubers, because it's kind of like still having that like identity separated.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
I'm sure Twitter will keep me up to date on what's happening within the VTuber
I'm
anime.
sure you will
I don't know
get
if I want to be kept up to
lots
date.
more. I'm sure you will get lots more tweets like this showing you the lowest, most degenerate moments of what's said, because I'm expecting that to happen a lot, and I'll probably continue to be like, hey, I'm having fun though.
If this is the first episode, I'm scared. That's all I'm saying.
This is all in the first episode.
It's just yeah. Okay. We'll see.
When does episode 2 come out? Imagine like a couple days, something like that.
2 days.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right. Moving
You'll have more
on.
content.
Shy season 2. There's 2 episodes out, and I've only watched one. Episode 1 felt more like a filler episode, so I really don't have much of an opinion on it. It
I
was
still haven't finished season 1, so
yeah. We'll see. Yeah, it's just more Shy. I don't really have anything to add there, just because episode 1 didn't really do anything except for like, yep, here's all the characters. Remember them? And like, yes, I do remember them. Let's get to the real content, and the real content is like, you gotta watch episode 2 for that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll watch episode 2 at some point. Uh, but yeah, just more Shy. Next up, we have the magical girl and the evil lieutenant used to be arch enemies. The Studio
Oh
Bones
yeah, this
1.
one.
Yeah, so it's only 12-minute episodes. So it's difficult to
I
get like
forgot this came out, so I haven't watched it yet. But
it's difficult to get too much of a read on it so far, but I enjoyed in the time allotted with the 12 minutes, I enjoyed the character interactions. It looks really nice. Uh, but yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it. I think it's a nice little tribute to the author who passed. It's not like they didn't just make it and be like, oh, we'll get like brownie points for making like
for
a
doing it,
yeah
yeah.
for doing this. It's like genuinely like they are definitely putting effort into this. I think the majority of the staff is female for the most part. Um, this is definitely just like a lot of passion went into creating this. So yeah, I don't really have much of an opinion on it. It just because I mean we only could spend half of the time of like a normal episode, but I'm sure it'll just be like a nice cute seasonal that maybe I don't have like too many things to like sing the praises for, but it was definitely not like a weak showing by any means. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Moving on. Something didn't expect.
Peak? Is it peak time?
Oh my gosh.
So Love is Indivisible by Twins, the twin romance thing. First episode is more engaging than I would have expected. Now, whether or not it can keep that up going forward is the next question, but I didn't expect it to be what it was. I think it was a very well directed first episode. It took two different perspectives and kind of molded them to create a very interesting little first episode there. Um,
I'm interested to see how like what perspectives we'll be getting throughout this, because now it's established with the first episode two different perspectives of the twins, but it's one of those things where I'm like,
yeah, going forward,
so are we gonna keep that? Are we gonna
we're
just
gonna have the
to like
guy going
go to guy
forward.
perspective? Are we gonna kind of switch between the three of them? I love the idea of like getting the perspective mainly from the twins. I don't think that's exactly what I'm expecting. I'm kind of thinking episode one is going to be twins perspective, and then we're going to get episode two, and it's going to be the guy's perspective, perhaps of the same events.
Yeah, it's difficult to see where this might go. I liked episode one, but I could definitely see this losing me at some point. But it's different. This
Yeah,
is the also it seems like the first like actual anime for this studio, Roll Two. Um, so we'll see. I didn't really have much to say. I mean, the animation's fine. There's some
good. It makes
there's cool
nice.
direction in there, but I really don't have anything to say about. Yeah, I just don't have much to say about the rest of it. It's like a pretty decent. The actual director for this has some decent things under
So
their belt
yeah, I was
here.
gonna say
They've
this
directed
is like a first, not quite a first time, like total director, but
from the looks of it, it seems like it's
they've done a lot of
oh
like
okay, they did one random like isekai or some shit. Okay, this is yeah, like their second time directing like a full thing.
couple episodes of
They
some
got some
really.
good things on here. Yeah.
What the hell does so the review Starlight the movie? It says unit director. What the hell is a unit director?
I have no idea what unit director. I'm not like good with all the staff stuff. Anyway, unit director. Uh, let's see. According to the top thing on Google, it says it's basically like an assistant director who
Okay,
tend to
fair enough.
swap out on a per episode basis.
Either
Basically,
way,
yeah.
so
We'll
this
just go
is
like assistant director then.
yeah. So this is a person who's done a lot of things, but not a ton of specific directing.
Yeah, they've
Which is
directed some Made in Abyss episodes. If I remember, episode 8 was a fucking banger. So, or Made in Abyss season 2. Some Kaguya episodes. Uh,
an up and comer,
I
perhaps.
like the opening for Reign of the Seven Spellblades, and they directed and storyboarded that. So that was cool. But well, yeah, we'll see how this continues going forward. Because I'm sure maybe at some point some of the issues with having like a brand new studio might show.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I enjoyed episode one quite a bit.
it has potential to be pretty good and potential to be pretty dog shit. So I'm hoping it ends up good, but we'll see. Which team are you on currently after episode 1?
I think it's Naori,
Oh yeah, easily. Okay. I was gonna say
the
if
smart
you're
girl.
if
I mean,
you're
I don't know. It's like it's hard
I mean it's only one
because
episode, but I don't know.
we have basically like sporty girl and smart girl, right? That's like if you boil them down to their basic, um, like bare minimum descriptions. But I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
I
didn't
just kind
really
of
like
liked.
Rumi that much, so
Yeah, exactly. I felt like Rumi,
it's
and
kind
I
of
mean
an
to be fair,
kind of a
Rumi also
dick.
kind of painted herself as a little bit of an ass in like the dialogue and everything. She even said,
I mean the dialogue and her actions,
"Yeah,
like what she did was pretty fucked. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see if she can redeem herself for me going forward. But for right
I
now,
also shamelessly, um, not the biggest short hair fan. This specific length not always an issue. We'll see.
yeah, she had the ponytail and then she got rid of it. Kind of an L decision. I don't know.
Yeah, it was kind of hard early on to keep track of like who was who. I mean, now that I've finished the episode and I know like okay, the one who's like really like studious and like trying to learn everything is the pigtails one, and the one who's like all like sporty and a little more, I guess, friendly in a way. I mean, they're both kind of like as the kid versions. They're both kind of. I don't know if friendly is the word I'd use, but
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see where things
either way.
go. Difficult to establish whether or not it'll be good going forward from just the first episode here. Uh, Next up would be Oshinoko season 2. I gave my
Yeah,
thoughts
I
on
like
it
this one.
last week. I mean, episode 2 is still like it came out since then, so
Yeah, I watched both episodes.
yeah, they're both really good.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just interested to see how it develops. I mean, nothing. Yeah, I don't really have any strong opinions on it. I'm just excited that we have a season 2 and it's good. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think that was the first. That was the first thing from this season that I wanted to watch because I was just really excited for it. So looking forward to the rest of it.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add since like last week. Like they've definitely put some love into the second season here, obviously since it's a big hit. So
Did you like the opening?
yeah, I like the opening. I like the
Yeah,
opening and the
I like
ending.
it too.
I don't think I've
I
seen
think I
both.
like the season 1 opening better, but I don't know. It's good.
I think like the visuals of the second one more. The song I don't really know.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
I mean I
visuals.
like Idol, but I'm not like one of those people like this is the greatest song to
No,
touch the face of the earth in the past like century or anything. I don't know.
it's definitely a different song. Like, I mean, the visuals and the tone, like, of everything is just like it's very different from Idol, at least from my perspective, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely like its own
darker.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, but it's cool.
Yeah.
So,
Next up, we have Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian, which I just watched the first couple episodes of
oh, this
this
one.
before we
This
started
anime
here. They're
is
a lot more Gunnar pilled than I
incredibly,
expected.
yeah. It's I don't know, cause it's kind of Gunnar filled. It's also like they're so troll, and it's like I love it. Like both in episode one, Alia was super troll, and then in episode two, obviously Yuki just like doubled down on that. Um, I don't think I particularly like the would I call it a twist? I don't think I particularly like. I guess I'll call it a twist with Yuki, but she is a very fun character, and I
I
enjoy her a
do
lot.
like her as a character. I can see where this is
I
gonna go in the future, but I'm just gonna pretend like that's not what's gonna
That's
happen.
not what's happening.
If you
Yep,
just ignore it, it won't happen.
we're gonna pretend that that's not what's happening, and they're gonna be like, oh, but, etc., etc. Um, I think at this current moment, both of those girls are about equal for me. Both Alia and Yuki. I don't know which one I particularly like more or less.
As you can see, I've made my decision,
I do
but
know that you've made your decision. I just feel like I don't know. It's hard to say because like episode 1, Alia was like super fun and super troll, and episode 2, she was kind of just getting dunked on most of the episode,
she was the one very much getting trolled, yeah.
which is like also fine. But it's one of those things where it's like I gotta see how it goes. If she keeps being the one getting trolled, I might like the troll more. If she continues to troll as we proceed, who knows? The main character is. We talked about this before when I had watched the episode. But I think you hadn't watched episode 1 yet at that point.
No.
Um, the main character is a main character of all time in like a fun
That's a way
way.
to put it.
I liked him more than I expected to. Like, I'd seen, like... When I knew that this was going to be more Gooner than I expected, I had, like, lowered expectations for the main character. Um, he has, like, the voice of, like the beta male type main characters, but he's more, like, normal than I would have expected.
He has fucking Otto from ReZero's voice actor. It's not necessarily an important fact. It's
And he's
just
also
I clicked on the voice
the
actor.
Wand and Wisteria guy for this
Yeah,
season. So yeah, he's got a lot
he's
going
the
on right
main
now.
character with Storia.
Busy guy, busy
Also,
guy.
also Monoma from My Hero.
Oh yes, of course, everyone's favorite.
Who's some other fun ones on here? I'm starting to get into the random isekai characters. Oh, he's Manji from Tsurude. That's based.
Anyway, it looks
Unimportant.
like the quality of the animation pretty good, pretty good. Um, yeah, I mean,
I just love when the Dogokobo does like cool eye things. And once again, they have like cool, nice looking eyes in this, which is like such a small detail to say, but
yeah. Speaking of
they just have very
Dodokobo, they
vibrant eyes, and I
recently
like it.
just got bought by Katakawa, which is unfortunate. We'll see how that affects them going forward, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Alio is good.
interesting.
I'll probably this is probably the front runner for me at the moment for like thing I might read after the anime finishes. Probably be between this and if the twins one is actually good or not, and then like 2.5D, which we'll talk about later.
I don't know. What are the odds the twin one actually has like an English translation though? That's a light novel.
It's a light novel, so
I
Likely
mean,
not.
says.
Really.
I know Alia has
Hmm,
one. I can't imagine the twins one has one.
let me go look, just for fun. The odds are like 0, by the way, but yeah, no. This is like it only has 6 volumes. I mean, it started in 2021, so
Yeah, that'll
I
do
guess
it.
that's still a decent amount.
6 volumes for starting 2021 is pretty good. It's not.
That's not bad, yeah.
The sixth actually comes out or came out 2 days ago. So yeah,
Oh,
it's
so it had
chilling.
5 basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it does not
Yeah,
have
I mean,
does not have English. So
I think Alia I'd probably read. I know that Mars read like the whole fucking series. It was very enjoyable, so I'm tempted to say I will do the same at some point.
yeah, I
I
don't know if
probably will do the same at some point unless it falls off.
I have like conflicted information. Like some people like yeah, this shit's gas like the whole way through, and then other people like yeah, after a certain amount of time, this shit's ass. So I don't know. I have a feeling it's
I
probably
think
one of those things that like dilly dallies around for too long for some people.
basically what Mars said to me was that he enjoyed it, but it's not at like Angel Next Door level for him.
Yeah, I imagine there's gonna be a lot of waiting around the water. Like they're not gonna get together quickly or anything like that. is what my assumption is, and I imagine there's
Yeah.
gonna be some like forced drama and shit in there, annoying plot
Oh, of
lines, like
course, always.
yeah. So that's probably like what happens to make people not like it as much. But I don't know. I have no information on this series other than I know a number of people have like turned on it over time. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I've enjoyed it so far, at the very least. It's nothing like
Yeah, it's been 2 pretty
groundbreaking,
good
but it's fun.
episodes.
Speaking of nothing groundbreaking but fun, Shiko no Noko Koshtantan.
No, no, good, no, good.
I haven't seen episode 2 yet, but
I've also not seen episode 2, so this is fine.
episode 1 was about as dumb as I expected.
Yep. Episode
Yeah,
1 was...
I know some people, other people who watched it, and they said it was like just weird, and I don't know. I guess
Episode 1 is like what if anyone who watched the trailers or knew anything about the series going in, episode 1 was about what you
Exactly what you'd
expected.
expect.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
But if you didn't watch anything,
so.
yeah, if you didn't watch anything or just didn't look at the promo art with the fucking photorealistic deer on it, you maybe went into this thinking it was going to be not what it was, and then we're just like, what the fuck? And even going into it knowing what it was going to be, I still think I had at least 1 or 2 moments where I just had to pause and be like, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Yeah, I'm sure whenever I watch episode 2, there will be even more going on. That is goofy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But we had the little the end of episode 1 ended in a way where it's like, who knows what's gonna happen next?
Yeah,
But they
I
jump scared us a little bit.
can only. What is the manga for this like? What could it possibly be?
What could it look like?
What could it look like? What like because a lot of the goofiness from the anime comes from like just the visual whiplash of like just the amount of insane shit happening, and then they like plaster a CGID or somewhere in there.
Also, this is another one of those like weird ones where AniList has an airing time because it's when it airs in Japan, but I don't believe it actually shows up on like streaming services for a
So
couple extra
on
days.
real streaming services, it is on Sundays.
Yeah.
Because in Japan they have a streaming service that airs it on Wednesdays, but the pirate sites get a hold of that regardless. So it's basically every Wednesday.
Well, yeah.
Depending on how you're watching it, it can be Wednesday or Sunday, whichever you choose. But yeah, there was a controversy surrounding this where it was like people were suspecting Crunchyroll used AI for the subtitles, but I've also seen people
Wait,
be
really?
like, "Oh no, that was like they were just like low
Is that
effort."
why
I don't know.
is that why the comment sections are dead now?
Crunchyroll did get rid of comment sections. I don't know if it was because they don't want people to
Related?
talk about
Yeah.
them using AI, or if it was because they are like, what if we like just got rid of comments and saved money on server space or some shit like that. I don't know. I imagine it's probably like a mix of things where like I imagine there's probably some toxicity in the comments. I imagine there is money to be saved and they don't give a fuck about their comment history or whatever, so they got rid of them. And I can also imagine they don't want people to have like an easy place to dunk on their service for using AI. I mean, I've said before that like I think they're going to continue to like AI translate something on their service, and to the point where until they don't get noticed doing it, they're gonna try and do like an episode of something every now and then just to like see if they can. But I don't know. Apparently the English dub was also kind of fucked. So like they didn't like make the script fit like a dub, and so the English voice actors are like forced to try and speak as fast as humanly possible to say the lines of the script to fit with the lip flaps. So apparently that's fucked. I don't know. A lot of goofiness going on around the goofy anime. Now getting to the territory of something I haven't watched an episode of yet. Days with My Stepsister. I know you did though, PK. So
I did watch.
Oh my gosh!
You get to be the incest
Don't.
connoisseur.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
Do
I
not. Oh
should
my
mention.
gosh!
I should mention.
Listen.
Peak, bro.
The incest connoisseur allegations in this anime not valid yet.
Okay.
I say yet because I can look at the tags and see that Inseki is a 96% match, understandable.
But remember,
Um,
we don't believe analyst tags, right? So there's
yeah,
no.
I
well,
mean, I
we
see
don't
the
believe
title of
any
this
list
anime.
tags.
96 is a little bit, you know. That's the copium. That's the copium.
Episode 1 was really good. And the reason it was really good was because it took this whole the whole situation of the two step siblings seeing their parents getting married and having to move in together, and kind of approached it from the perspective of these are two strangers who are meeting each other for the first time and being forced into kind of this sibling relationship. And they approached it from a really realistic, down to earth perspective of these are two strangers who don't know each other trying to come to a common ground of a normal just relationship to each other as siblings who also have no connection to each other from before. And so I episode 1 maybe a tiny bit of a downer just because it was a lot more serious than I think a lot of episode 1s are, but I think the content just felt very what it should be if this is the scenarios that you're portraying. And even if I want to be more cringe and say you're gonna set it up for these two characters to be some sort of romantic relationship, I'd prefer not, but I think at the very least I like the fact that it felt like episode 1 was building towards creating an actual good sibling relationship between the two of them, and starting that from ground zero, and not just oh, we're siblings and best friends now, yay.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of anime are like, oh, you two know each other beforehand. Now you're siblings. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the last time I've seen something be like, okay, two strangers, boom, here you go, family now, was Slow Loop. But that wasn't incest, so that was just
Yeah,
fishing.
these two did not know each other before, and so it just it was nice, and they didn't try to avoid the topic of these two being absolute strangers. So I thought it took a very grounded approach, and it's a little slow and maybe a little heavy for an episode 1, but I thought at least for establishing what I'm hoping the series will be, as opposed to what it's really easy to think the series will be because has a title that elicits a lot of reactions. I thought this was a good episode to help alleviate some of my worries that it's just gonna be weird.
Yeah. Next up, for something I also haven't watched, Cafe Terrace second season. I'm sure it's just more of the same. See whatever episodes is introducing. I don't know. Whichever episode we talked about the following season and the previous season in
It was
one video.
last episode maybe. Oh
No,
well,
no,
previous
no.
season.
I
I see
mean,
what you're
like
saying.
for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for season one. At some point, I definitely talked about this. I don't remember which one that would have been. Hold on, let me. When did this come out? It would have been the end of spring, start of summer video. So whenever that happened, go see that. You'll know my thoughts on the series, and it's probably the exact same, I imagine. So
If anything, episode 1 is probably either partial recap slash or just a funny hey, let's remember who the characters in this show are episode. I'd highly doubt episode 1 is anything too
yeah,
crazy off the
there
bat.
are two episodes out of it. I just haven't seen either
Oh,
one.
okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Speaking of two episodes out that I haven't seen anything of, Pseudo Harem. This is your thing, PK.
It's
So
peak. It's peak.
It's peak.
It's so Pseudo Harem is one of my favorite rom-coms that I've read. I read the whole thing in a night. I stayed up till 4 a.m. to read the whole thing in a night because I was just enjoying it that much.
That's how you know it's good.
Episode 1 was good. I mean, so like Pseudo Harem is, I guess I would describe it as like a particular type of series in the sense that there's not really like a big plot line to Pseudo Harem. You read or watch the Pseudo Harem anime because you want to see these two characters just being really cute around each other, and that's it.
Mm, okay.
It's like literally fluff at its most base level.
So
And I
there's no
think
like
in
overarching plot essentially, or is that not the
no,
case?
in the manga there's like a little bit of things happening because obviously, especially when you're getting to the end of the series, you have to at least kind of progress the characters a little bit. But even then, it's the whole point of Pseudo Harem is these two characters are in their little drama club, and the female, is an incredibly talented actress. So one day, the guy is like talking about how all dudes want a harem, and she starts to act out all the different like tropey uh female archetypes, and basically, as the name implies, becomes his pseudo harem,
Right. Okay.
right?
Interesting.
And it's just kind of like cute, follow their everyday activities as she'll like randomly change to the personalities that just like are fun in the moment, or he'll be like, man, it'd be really fun if like Tsundere-chan was here, and stuff like that.
Oh, so she becomes okay. Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. It's very fun. It's not something that people who are looking for like a big story or anything are gonna like. But if you just want like a cute little romance, this is that. I think the only negative I would really say about it is I think the anime maybe stuck a little bit too closely to the manga art style, and it looks maybe a little odd animated. But I don't
Okay.
mind it because I like the manga art style. But it is a very like stylistic thing, and I think the anime made the decision to kind of like match that. And so animated, it does look a little bit odd at times.
I see. All right. Next up, I think I don't remember if we just mentioned this earlier, post or before cast, probably earlier. 2.5D seduction.
Oh,
You
yeah, I
know, so
think we
we haven't
did.
actually talked about it. I have not gotten to watch this yet. Um, it's something that I have considered reading for a long time, so I definitely will watch it soon. I've seen like a few clips float
Yeah.
around the internet.
Is it like etch like giga horny, or is it
Yes,
like
They've
yeah? Okay.
I've heard.
Okay,
actually
I remember
like
watching the trailer for this.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
heard.
Now I remember.
I've
It's
heard
pretty
they've.
censored.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard they've pretty censored it, and it's
Oh, okay.
still like fairly etchy. Um, pretty sure the source
Honestly, I
material
feel
goes
like at
crazy.
this point, fucking like Alia has more etchy than this. I mean, it's definitely like you can feel, uh, like, you can tell this is an etchy series at heart more than
I mean,
like
that's valid.
Alia would be.
They did. They did Alia. The episode 2 of Alia felt a lot. I don't want to say a lot more etchy, but like at the same time, a lot more like delving towards that direction than episode 1 did.
Look, animators, it's absolutely imperative for the story here that we, in
That we
detail, with
animate an
multiple different
entire
camera angles, that
undressing
we
scene.
that we have her undressed to her underwear. It's imperative we do this. But yeah, I mean, this I like looked at the manga just to see for research purposes what they censored. And yeah, I mean it's like extremely censored. Like the manga has you know, uncensored titty, and the anime very much does not. Even like where they like I could tell in I think it was episode 2 that I watched today. There was a scene where one of the girls was like positioned in a certain way for like a pose, and the way that they had the camera, they were like blocking like what would be probably a panty shot. I'm like, I know damn well if I go look at the manga right now,
Damn well if I
that's
go
a panty
check
shot, and
right now.
and then I after the episode was over, I go look, I'm like, yep, I fucking knew it, dude. So yeah, it's like it's censored for sure, and I don't know why you would. I mean, it's JC staff. I guess they're not really known to be like a horny
JC Staff is
studio.
on High Dive. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. Maybe there'll be like a blue. There's not gonna be a Blu-ray version. It's not like set up in a way that like a Blu-ray version would be like, oh, let's just like remove these like censorship, doodly dads that we have here. It's like no, I mean just straight up like directed in a way that gets rid of like a lot of horny.
It's like such a funny dynamic to me because on one hand I'm like, I don't really know that I care if things are censored or not. But then on the other hand, I'm like, if it's a series that is already pretty like uncensored, I feel like the decision of let's take this and make a censored version, and maybe it's just because in like Western culture it's different, but
Could
I
be.
just always feel like it's a weird decision to me to be like, we're gonna take this series that part of why it's popular is because it's just incredibly horny, and we're just gonna make it not.
Yeah, I don't really.
Like to me, that always feels like cannibalizing your audience more than like extending to like bigger
It
audiences.
looks like this is on Crunchyroll and High Dive, from what I can see.
Is it
Yeah, the AnyList streaming links has both of them.
interesting? I could see. Imagine how toxic it would be if like Crunchyroll had the
Crunchyroll
censored version
censored
and
it,
High
yeah, and
Dive,
High Dive had
yeah, High Dive
uncensored.
had an uncensored.
uh, I mean,
Um,
I don't know. It's
if
very
that's the
odd.
case, that makes a little sense too, because I know like High Dive doesn't give a damn about censorship, but
Yeah,
Crunchyroll does.
I know damn well I would be seeing everything fully uncensored on my Twitter timeline if there was an uncensored version. So there's definitely
That
just,
is true.
it's definitely just not, not the case. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it too much.
Like it's not
Earl,
a series I'm starting because I like care whether it's censored or not.
yeah, I've heard the main character gets better as it goes on. He's like, I mean, he's like really awkward in the first episode. The second episode is a bit better. Um, he's like, I don't know if you technically call it an incel. I don't know about incel. He
The things
he.
I've seen make that feel accurate, but
It's like
I
I want
haven't
to
seen
use that
enough.
word, but it's not that he is like.
It doesn't feel
It's
quite correct.
it's like
Yeah.
voluntary. He is a
Volcel, bro. Volcel. There's a
yeah
word for
he
that.
is a vol cell. Yeah, he is
Why is there a
voluntarily.
word?
I mean,
No, I
incel
mean,
is
I mean that.
involuntarily
Yeah.
celibate, so I mean the opposite would be
Yeah,
like
fair enough,
volcel,
fair
I
enough, fair
guess.
enough.
He only likes 2D women, or so he thinks. But I'm sure there'll be romance plotline at some point. I mean, they've already like sown the seeds, so. But yeah,
The concept of someone being like, I only like 2D women is crazy. Also,
Yeah.
but
I mean, we have the dude
The
who
term 2D is like
people have
crazy.
married Hatsune Miku. I imagine that there's even more intense, only like 2D people out there. So
oh yeah,
anyway, and then the last thing would be the second episode came out today, but I haven't seen it yet. Dungeon People.
I
Uh,
have not watched yet.
I don't really know what to think about it. It seems like it might be fun. I mean, like, it's if I had
It kind of
to,
felt to me like something I would want to watch like a couple episodes of at once just to get like a real feel for it.
yeah. So basically, what the concept is like there's this girl who's like the administrator of the dungeon, and basically like instead of the dungeon just like respawning shit and like the typical type of anime thing,
Like she
she's
just
like,
does
yeah, I
that
have to
too.
like interview monsters to like come in and replace the other
Okay,
ones
that's
and shit like that, and it's like like the inner workings of a dungeon in a way that like no one would ever actually think of, I guess. A different perspective on like the like dungeon. It had like, I mean, it's not anything special production wise, but it's like okay. It had like movement to the action, which I can respect whenever an anime does that instead of like the typical like slideshow like action lines type of fighting. Um, the only like complaint I think I have so far is that the dungeon is looks lame as fuck. Like it's like literally just like a beige fucking hallway basically.
Oh, it's just yeah.
Like it makes Orient's like set pieces look good type of thing. But who knows? Maybe it'll change as it goes on. It's like it's pretty boring background, but I imagine the manga probably doesn't try and do much to like make it look. It's probably like an afterthought in the manga, I would imagine, and so the anime is like, well, fuck, we'll just focus on everything else, I guess. But we'll see as it goes on. It's only one episode. I can't make uh can't complain too much yet. Not that I think it's gonna be like too big of a complaint anyway, because it's not like I don't know. When I talk about Ori, I like looking for reasons to shit on it. And that's why I focus so heavily on the red rocks, uh, but yeah, that's everything that's come out so far, and everything.
Oh, I one thing
Yeah,
I watched one episode of the Code Geass show. I didn't like it, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I liked the
already
original
done.
so much. Yeah, it's
I
just
don't feel like I've seen anyone like actually talk about it, so I'm not
yeah.
surprised there.
It's so hard because like from the original, like the characters were so like maybe I'm being too harsh on it, but like since I've seen the original, like it's kind of natural to kind of compare it to it. So I don't know. I was really like kind of not impressed with the characters in the first episode. Where like the first episode of Code Geass, like you know, I mean, you remember PK, right? Like the first episode, it's like
Yeah.
very, it's icon. It is there's very iconic scene of like Lelouch playing chess, and like you kind of get an insight of like what kind of person he is, and um, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I get it. I've seen the original. It's like obviously I have to compare, but like I just didn't like it. I don't know if I'll continue watching it. I'm gonna try out some other shows this season before I end up returning to this. But yeah, it's just maybe for people who are more dedicated Kogi fans, they they want to explore different parts of the universe. I don't know, but it's just I just miss Lelouch, bro. Lelouch is the goat. I miss him. But yeah, I didn't like it too much. So
Yeah, I've got 3 things left to air in like 5 days. The next Sengoku Yoko season will air, which means I gotta finish the last 3 episodes of the first season. And then tomorrow I get both Makine, which is the Too Many Losing Heroines, and then Atri, My Dear Moments. So that'll be like the end of the
oh, I
month.
heard about
I didn't
Atri.
see both of
One of my
those,
friends just
so
Yeah,
liked the show, but I
I
don't
want to
know.
say I ended up taking 3 off my watching. I can't remember. I know I took 2 off. I know I took Dahlia and Bloom off, and then I decided not to watch the Raising Kids Isekai on the grounds that I didn't really feel like it.
Right.
yeah, it's valid.
Let me
It
see
does look
summer
cute,
2024.
but I don't know. I felt like with all the things I had picked out this season that I wanted to watch, it's looking at all of these isekai and thinking like, yeah, I want to watch those too.
Oh, I
Was too
remember.
much to.
It's the Tasuketsu, the one where like the survival game one where people like disappear each night or whatever.
Oh yeah,
On the grounds that the average score is a 48% right now, I decided, you know what,
yeah.
maybe I don't feel like watching this one.
maybe, maybe we don't need to. The only thing we mentioned that I have planned that I have not watched yet is the who is the author again? Osamu Dazai, the
Oh,
author
the
who's
isekai,
isekai.
like the guy who
Yeah,
like killed himself or whatever. That one, yeah.
yeah, it's that one is the only other thing, but I haven't seen it yet. So, um, I've seen a few clips from it, not clips, but like screenshots that make it sound like it might be kind of fun, but I can't really talk too much. Most people have said it seems more focused on like being funny than being like a really good story, which I would hope so. I feel like this is the type of plot where I
Yeah,
want it to just be like make me laugh.
yeah. I've seen like clips of the Suicide Squad isekai. It looks pretty dog shit. I can't lie about what I expected.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, it did not look good at all.
They're random things that
Yeah, I guess some random things I've heard good things about, but I'm not gonna watch. I Parry Everything apparently is pretty fun, and then uh, the the cross-dressing senpai thing is supposed to be just good in general, but
I have
it's
heard, yeah,
Project
I
Light,
have heard a
so
lot. I have heard a lot about the cross-dressing senpai. I will not be watching it still, but I'm glad it's
Oh
good
yeah, okay, yeah,
for the
yeah.
people who, yeah, the people who want to watch it. Oh, I've heard actually decent things about the robot. The My Wife Has No Emotion.
oh, you did. The first thing I saw about it was that it was like a heap of dog shit. So I guess
Okay, fair
Okay.
enough. Perhaps
some
I have less
conflicting
or
information.
more reliable information. Um, this is just kind of something I saw talks about it. It wasn't like a particularly like big positive or negative for it.
Yeah. I saw like a clip from the new Monogatari and it looked pretty cool, but I mean, I haven't seen enough Monogatari obviously to watch that one, so I have nothing to say about that. It's got a pretty high rating though. 87% right now. It's an O and A apparently. So it's
I'm just
technically the
looking
highest
at
rated O and A of all time right now.
I'm just looking at ratings right now, and the for plus size elf is at 57.
Yeah, that's an anime for a very special group of people that I'm not a part of, so I'm
That's an
But
interesting way to put it.
that's also what makes me surprised that it's so like lowly rated. But I suppose maybe there's also a bunch of people that just aren't part of that group, being like, oh yeah, I'll check this out.
apparently it's actually uncensored, which I didn't know until I saw a clip on my Twitter timeline. I'm like, okay, then well, I didn't need to see that.
I have seen no clips.
Yeah. Let me sort by score actually. Yeah, let's see. Monogatari right now at the top for this season, which isn't particularly surprised because by this point no one's watching Monogatari off season
Yeah,
unless you love Monogatari.
Oshinoko, of course. Fairy Tail's gonna be high because once again, nobody's watching Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest. If you haven't gotten through all of Fairy Tail and enjoyed it to some degree.
Yeah. My
Dune's
predictions is that
destruction
this is
thing.
basically gonna stay almost the exact same. Like I imagine Oshinoko and Monogatari will be at the top the entire time. Oshinoko second. I
What
think
do
Fairy
I?
Tail will fall at some point. I think Alia probably overtakes it.
I don't think Fairy Tail will fall. This is a really good arc. Like I think anyone who's watching Fairy Tail still is going to enjoy this like beginning of 100 Year Quest. Like I don't foresee it falling very much because I know the material that they're
I
adapting.
wonder if things are any different over on my enemy list. Let me see. I feel like some of these ratings were like kind of low. Like not that any of these series seemed like I mean I haven't like I said earlier, like nothing's like super groundbreaking just yet, but
Yeah, I mean most of this stuff is like around that 70% mark
yeah, if I look at
still.
seasonal anime for my anime list and sort by score, let's see.
Like it's hard for me to look
Uh,
at something like
yeah, like some of these are like over eights on my anime list, whereas they'd like barely, like they're like mid 70s on any list, which is interesting. Oshinoko is like an 8.4. Fairy Tail is an 8.2. Alia is an 8.2, basically. Wistoria and Shikonoko are over 8.
yeah, it's basically the
Uh,
same.
Elusive Samurai almost an 8. Yeah, like a lot of these are definitely like just higher on Mel, which is interesting. Um, yeah, it's like a bit surprising that like it's that big of a difference on some like this isn't uh like a like a 0.1% or like a 0.1 difference or anything like that. These are like pretty fair jumps in score. I guess Mal probably pertains to like a more casual base, and maybe that's why it's higher. Whereas like Annie List has a lot of like goons on it.
I do feel like any list probably has a lot more people that'll just like watch an episode one and immediately drop something and give it like a low score.
Maybe.
But maybe that's just because I'm on any list, so I just see people do shit like that all the time.
Yeah, like you can see it in the feed. Whereas on like Mal, like whatever happens happens. You don't really know what's going on.
But I think that's also why more people would do it on any list because you get the reactions, right? It's like
Yeah.
a game. Like if I
Yeah.
really hated this, I can just drop it, and then people are gonna see that. It's like a spectacle almost, even if realistically, like no one's really gonna see it or care.
Yeah.
It's still just like the concept of like, oh, I hated this so much, I want to tell anyone who sees my post on Global that I despised it and dropped it and gave it a 1.
Yeah, I think that's. Unless I missed something. I don't think I did. I mean, there's continuing stuff I need to catch up
There's
on,
like
but
other, yeah, there are other
I guess
things,
like the
but
movies that we talked about a couple times before, but that's like different, you know.
yeah, I mean the movies, we're not seeing the movies for
Yeah, for
this
a
season.
while, right?
yeah, like unless
I
it's
wish,
for
Part
because
of
the
living in the
the
West, I
two,
guess.
yeah, the 2 movies we have, at least the 2 that I have, I don't remember if you had the colors within also, but
Yeah, I think I may not have put it on my planning or whatever, but yeah, I remember that's the one I thought about saving. Yeah, but
yeah.
who knows what will happen?
the Shy
Yes,
season 2 promo art does look cool. I will give it that.
it looks cool. See, episode 1 didn't really like do anything for me, but you know, it didn't
Yeah.
like. It was just like a here's all the characters again, lol, and then here we go. I wouldn't be surprised if that episode was like entirely anime original because it was kind of like Hongshu, to be completely honest.
Mhm.
Very like it definitely wouldn't be in between an arc type of thing. I don't feel like. Anyway, I guess like only other thing is I'm almost done with HBK season 3. It's not really part of this season, but
So you're
uh
almost done. I've been seeing that
yeah.
you've been enjoying it.
Yeah, no, the most I've always liked TBK, and I like the start of the season, but I feel like recently it's been slapping like really hard.
Hmm.
Like I don't think it'll end up as like my anime of the year or anything, but it will definitely be among the top, I would imagine. It
I
should
have
definitely a slapper.
one big thing to talk about because I don't think we've talked about this since it happened. Huge news for PK and
Okay,
Mars as well. Fire Force season 3
Oh yeah, they're like
finally announced.
it's real, yeah.
officially announced to be coming out with the first part of it in spring 2025, which is still a ways away.
But you know it's real
And
now
then
after 2 years
yeah,
of
exactly.
nothing.
Like I have a time frame that it's like, okay, it's coming, and the art is great, and then the part 2 will be at the beginning of 2026, which is like a long time. But this is like the part of Fire Force to me that made it one of my favorite like series. Is this like how it ends and how it sets up everything at the end? And so I'm definitely of the opinion of, take your time, make peak. But the promotional poster for the first part, I'll post it in here, is really nice. But yeah, Fire Force
Yeah.
officially
Oh,
has
the eye.
has a date. Has a date. It will
It's
be coming,
real.
and season
Unlike
3 is
Hollow Knight
fire.
Silk Song, which still isn't real.
Silk Song, not real.
Don't.
I think
It's
I've
not.
said this on
It's
the
not real.
podcast too. It won't be until season 3, part 2, but Fire Force does have, in my opinion, a top 5 shonen fight of all time. As
Well,
someone who is,
I won't be the judge of that. Actually, I'll probably just finish it via the manga rather than the anime at this point. But
I mean, even then, like the manga is great,
no, I'll
especially
be the
like
judge of that. It won't
I
be
promise
maybe.
you, you will probably not, knowing you will probably disagree with me, but I think you'll understand why I say it's a top 5 shonen fight of all time.
I probably just won't care enough. Like at the
I
end of the
just, well,
day,
that's what I'm saying. But top 5 shonen fight of all
I
time.
guess I
I'll
guess
stand
also
behind that.
in the same breath of like, oh my god, it's real. The Witch Hat Atelier trailer dropped and it looked pretty fucking
Yep, that
gorgeous.
did
So
happen. There was a few
Oh yeah.
different things that dropped that because we were kind of in the middle of previewing the next season, talking about last season, doing stuff like that. We didn't really talk about. Also, because a lot of it wasn't huge to us. I mean, Fire Force is a big deal to me, but there's not a ton of else that was announced that I was super crazy about. I mean, Apothecary Diaries 2 was a big deal to a lot of people, but I still haven't watched the first season.
yeah,
So
that was announced
I
like
did finish
when
the first.
season 1
Yeah.
ended anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there was other stuff. I don't remember for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Either way, big announcement. One for me, one for Daniel.
I don't have a big announcement, but
Hey, left alone. No big amounts for you.
no big announcement. I have to just finish watching the shows I've been planning. Oh no, I guess okay, sure. I don't know. If it's not really big, but I watched more Freer. I'm on episode 5 or something, 4 or 5. I don't know. I
Oh
watched
God,
it earlier this year. I mean, I'm just watching a couple episodes, whatever I have time for.
he's catching up to me. Oh no.
Yeah, you
I'm
gotta get to
slowly,
work,
okay,
PK.
slowly.
I mean, if
Uh,
you want spatula, your big news could be Rent a Girlfriend season 4.
Yeah, Rent a
no,
Girlfriend
that's
season
no. I'm
4.
good. Thanks,
The
man.
Rent a
I'm good.
Girlfriend game also got announced.
There's a
Uh,
game.
Apparently, I don't know what the game is gonna be, but it exists.
like a gotcha game or video game? I mean, like what? Like what?
It's like on the PS4 or some shit and Switch.
Oh my god, that sounds not
Yeah, season 4 of Rent a
fun.
Girlfriend will be like the worst arc I've ever seen in fiction, so that should be
Oh,
interesting.
because you've read them.
Is
Okay, so
this?
you know.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
Okay.
is this the part where it like really falls downhill?
Yeah, the water park arc might be like the worst thing I've ever seen, like besides like the end of Domestic Girlfriend, basically. Like it's like equally insulting, maybe more actually, just cause like it follows up what is like Rent a Girlfriend's single decent arc, and then just like delves immediately. Anytime Rent a Girlfriend takes like a step forward, it'll take an equal amount of steps backwards times 5. Like it's insane. So yeah, it's like 10 steps forward, 50 steps back for Rent a Girlfriend in this arc. 50 might actually be like an understatement. It's like a million steps back. This shit's ass, man. Like it's such a terrible, terrible arc. Oh my god. Reading that weekly was an experience. Like I'll never, not a good experience. I'll never forget seeing that shit and just being like dumbfounded at how awful it is every single week. I technically never finished that arc, actually. I dropped it in the middle of it, so no
Nice.
clue how it ends, even. But it probably S, just like the rest of it. How is that shit still going, dude? Please end. Holy shit. Oh my god. It's like the longest running fucking romance of all time, basically. Like, none of them get to, like, chapter 300, let alone this shit's, like, still going without any signs of fucking stopping at, like, 330, probably. I don't know. Anyway, it's enough Rent a Girlfriend ranting.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years since fucking season 1. Old news. Don't need to ever see it ever again.
Yeah.
Even it's gonna be all over my fucking timeline when the infamous scene that made me just like stop reading the manga happens. I'll be seeing that animated for sure. But anyway, that's gonna be the end of this episode here. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, rate 5 stars, whatever platform you're on. If you're on the audio only side of things and you'd like to check out the YouTube Is the Order an Anime Podcast, we are the only one. Same thing with YouTube audio only. Is the Order an Anime Podcast, can't possibly miss us. Every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST without fail, except for when we do, there will be a new episode out for you to enjoy. So once again, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in another one. Goodbye.